It's Friday and I'm on fire, and I know that I'll break your heart, and I'm sorry, I'm just so tired. These cars are just it, so won't you come?
Hey, let me talk to you.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and tonight I'm joined by my co-hosts for the evening. We'll go ahead and we'll start out with that man that we call him Mr. Big B. Big B, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Missed last week's show due to little virus, but I'm back. I'm ready to talk some wrestling. Can't wait to hit our topics.
All right, and then of course we have Christy. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Ready to talk wrestling. I'm just ready to have fun.
Ready to go for it. All right. So, our
Yeah.
first, yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of LA Knight, I know this is kind of going off script for
Yeah.
a second here. This is the time we go off the script.
Mhm.
All right. So, this is something interesting that I saw on LA Knight. He was talking about his appearance
Mhm.
that he had with the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And he's like, right before I had my appearance with the Undertaker, everybody was telling me, when the gong hits, you get chills and blah blah blah. And LA Knight's like, yeah, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, sure, okay. And he's like,
Mhm.
so I start working with the Undertaker. He's like, I get in the ring and that freaking gong hits, and he's like, oh my god, I freaking felt the chills just go up my freaking spine. He's like, so people were not wrong when they
No,
said,
they weren't.
that you feel the
Woo.
chills when the gong hits.
Yep.
Yep. Even
You
when you're
know
sitting in the
gonna get-
crowd.
Yeah. Or watching from home.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You probably watched him live there, Big B, right?
Yeah, I've seen them here. I was just like, that gong hits, man. It drops like 20 degrees. I swear it feels like.
Right.
It has to be.
The chills are there.
The chills.
Gong. All right. Well, yeah, we can go ahead and we can jump into it. We can start talking about our. We can start talking about Raw first and kind of what we thought of Monday Night Raw. So, Big B, if you kind of want to give us your thoughts on what really stuck out to you on Monday Night Raw.
I tell you, over the last few weeks, these Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns promos have just been kicking it. I mean, they've been on fire. They finally I think they're building really a lot to the main event and now the tag titles, since we got Sami and
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens together. That's going to be a banger match. So I'm telling you right now, if they are going to disappoint us and throw a curveball, Roman Reigns is walking out champ, because all these promos got me thinking it's going to be Cody Rhodes walking out as champ.
So I'm just saying, because we all know how rumors work. We say that things get thrown around all the time. But I did read one today from WrestleVotes. I believe it was. They posted today that said that currently WWE has not decided on the winner yet of the main event at WrestleMania. They're going back and forth between whether it's going to be Cody or whether it's going to be Roman. So if you would ask me 3 months ago, I flat out would have said the winner was going to be Cody. Yeah. But you ask me now, and I'm thinking that it very well could be Roman Reigns. So it's.
But also too, there's been still a lot of speculation that they're trying to figure out a way to get one of those belts off of him. So Ace, it might come out to where you played a few weeks ago, or a few months ago actually, that Cody, let's say Cody wins, and Paul Heyman will be like, well, if you read the contract, it was only for this title.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still in play. So
right.
It could be. Yeah, it very well could be.
They haven't even done a segment with a contract signing yet. They might do it next week. Oh, they have. Yeah, they haven't done it. They'll either do it on SmackDown or next week.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing is I saw this too, and there was a question that I actually asked because you were talking about the promos there, Big B, and somebody asked right now, who's winning that battle? Is it Cody or is it Roman? Because I'll tell you, both have just been going back and forth, man.
Oh, those promos have just been killer. And honestly, if I wasn't a wrestling fan, and I probably still would watch just to find out what happens in the main event, because that's pretty much where they're going. Been promoting. I know they've been promoting Rhea and Charlotte, and now you got the Edge and Finn Balor match.
Hell in a Cell.
But yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, what else stood out to you there on Monday Night Raw? Big B.
I like how they're playing Dominic and Ray. We know that match is probably going to
happen.
We know that match. We know that match is going to most likely this Friday. I think we're going to finally get an answer, maybe from the mom, maybe from the sister,
Mama Mysterio.
Yeah. So I'm actually kind of liking that, and then I know you guys. You know me, I've been kind of semi-closet Mysterio fan, and I've told him I've also said that he's also got to go back to NXT for a while. But I think it was Bubba Ray who said that putting Mysterio Dominic in the Judgment Day was like the best thing that could happen to him, and I agree with that. I agree with that. Right. So
the way that Triple H has used him in the Judgment Day to give him a lot of heel heat has really worked.
Yeah.
So Thomas is also saying, do we really need a contract signing? They've already been face to face a couple times.
No, probably not. But I just thought, they haven't gotten there yet. But maybe they don't need to do it.
Those contract signings are kind of getting overused, I think.
They're really stupid. I mean, you sign the contract and then you start fighting, or you throw each other through a table or a chair.
Yeah, that's basically
it's boring. It's really boring.
But I was glad to see this week on Raw. I was actually very, very glad to see that we're finally, and it was cool that Edge called out the Demon, right? So that was really cool. So we're gonna see the Demon Finn Balor against Edge, which is hopefully.
Well, it depends on which Edge we're getting. We're either getting Rated R Superstar Edge or Creepy Brood Edge, because that promo
we're getting the Brood Edge.
The candles and everything, it's so creepy. I really liked it.
We are getting the Brood Edge. We definitely
are.
He's gonna come up right through the middle of this the ramp, because the ramp's gonna be like 100 yards long. So somewhere in the middle, he's gonna come in the middle.
About the length of a football field, pretty much.
And that's gonna be
it's all gonna be surrounded in fire.
But I kind of like the Brood's the Edge's Brood entrance. I really do like that. I think that it's really, really cool. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Yeah. If you ask me who's gonna win,
I don't care.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
I just want a good match, really.
And it's gonna be a banger.
And I think it will be. All right, Christy. How about you in Monday Night Raw? What
definitely
really for you?
The Sammy KO segment with the Usos was really good. The fact the crowd popped when the Titantron shows Roman coming in, I'm like, oh my god. And then the last segment with Roman and Cody, I think Cody just burned Roman, because Roman dropped the mic and walked out. He's like, F this, I can't handle this, and he just leaves. And they had to stop Solo Sikoa from hitting Cody. And there's a video out on Twitter that I think a fan got from the show. It shows Roman is looking at Solo pretty pissed. He's yelling at him. And this was after Raw went off the air. So,
and it was kind of cool though to see like the things that Sammy says to Jay is so funny.
That was funny.
You know, you were the one that's always wanted to turn your back.
Yeah.
It's always been you.
Yep.
But Sammy's best one was when he said, "You're not angry at me. You're just mad because you didn't hit him with the chair first."
Yeah.
It's true.
I was like,
Jay's looking at him like, what the, you know.
Yeah, I liked how the twins stopped fighting and went to the back when Roman showed up.
They're like, we got a lot of explaining to do here. Like,
Right.
We're going to have to let him know we accepted a tag team match against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
I think I mean, we'll probably get into it next week before Mania, but I think Bloodline. I think Bloodline's dropping all titles.
Yeah, we're
me too.
Yeah, next week we're gonna make our predictions right before Mania. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into SmackDown here. Some things that really stuck out for you on Friday Night SmackDown. So, Big B, we'll go ahead and kick it off with you. Some things that really stuck out for you.
Honestly, it was, the beginning. Cody tries to get them together. Kevin Owens is like, nope, I'm not handling it, and then at the end there, Kevin Owens comes out. So
get it out.
Yeah, so I think the build up between those two getting back together was excellent.
It was. It was freaking great.
Brilliant.
It was. And if you saw, like, and this is kind of where it's kind of interesting, like you can see how some fans work. And the only reason I'm saying this is because Mark Henry. Now we know Mark Henry is a part of AEW.
AEW, yes.
Yeah, and Mark Henry actually left a message that said, "Wow, this was an amazing moment in wrestling." And then somebody, and then a fan below him left a comment that said, "Come on, Mark, you work for a fellow company. You need to be focusing on that and not what's going on here." And I'm like,
fine.
I was like, "Are you serious?"
Like, come on now.
I was like, he was simply leaving a comment about just saying, "Hey, it was a great moment," because it was. The buildup was so great that it was perfect.
It was.
And the thing is we know. I mean, all the documentaries are coming out. You got the internet now. We know all these guys are friends outside the ring.
Yes.
I mean, you got Charlotte working in WWE. You got her husband over in AEW.
Yep.
You have the Roses split up. So
yep. You also have Zelina Vega and her husband Malachi Black. She's in WWE. He's in AEW. Same with Rhea Ripley and her boyfriend. Same thing.
I mean, look at Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona's doing his own thing, and Chelsea Green's in WWE.
Yeah.
So it's funny because Thomas is like, does the fan not know that Mark is a co-host of Busted Open?
Probably does.
Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I've heard the show. I didn't know Mark Henry was part of it.
I had an idea. I don't have Sirius Satellite Radio, so I don't listen to Busted Open.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, though. He's simply making a comment. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope. No, there isn't.
That would be like Justin Jefferson throwing out a comment about Stephon Diggs making a great catch. Both on different teams. I mean,
who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah,
if he's enjoying football, then why not be a fan?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, Big B, did you have more to go on there?
No, not really. I think that's what really stuck out. Hopefully, this Friday, really kind of gets it going some more.
Yeah, solidifies it a little bit more.
All right, Christy, how about you?
Definitely the KO Sammy segment with Cody acting as mediator. And then, of course, it's KO coming to Sami's aid when the Usos attack him, and then he and Sami hug it out. It's like, way to go, guys.
Hug it out. Hug it out.
Hug it out, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what really stuck out to me is that we're finally getting, I think, what I've been wanting for a while. We're finally getting that triple threat match between Gunther and Sheamus and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
That match, I'm telling you, is going to be a banger. Like, I'm looking at this match card
after banger.
I'm looking at the match card for WrestleMania, and I'm like, oh my god, Like this
Loaded.
WrestleMania could be freaking amazing.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of worried on how short the Brock Lesnar Omos match is going to be.
I'm going to say about 5 minutes tops.
Because I mean, granted, I know neither one was going to put on a 20-minute match, but
no, that's not possible for either one.
But from what I've been reading, Brock Lesnar doesn't want this match. He didn't want this, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
He's the one. He's the one who chose Omos.
Right, and
I was reading different that he doesn't want this match. So I don't know. I mean, granted,
he didn't want the match. Yeah, he didn't want the match against Bray Wyatt, so he went with Omos. Is like, well, at least Omos isn't into this supernatural BS.
Okay, maybe I misread it.
And supposedly Vince liked the idea, and he said, "Hey, Triple H, book it."
No.
I don't have any idea though.
So Thomas saying the Intercontinental title match. Yeah,
that might be the match of the night.
It might be, but
night one, I think, is when that's going to happen.
This whole match card, I think, is going to be simply amazing.
Fire.
This is one of the better like WrestleMania match cards we've had in a very, very long time. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Definitely a lot of anticipation behind it.
So that one really so those are the things that really stuck out to me on SmackDown. We can kind of jump into NXT and kind of mention kind of in NXT now on the recap and kind of what we're looking at there. So we kind of know that the North American title kind of had that open challenge in a way. Now that is starting to really peak out to be a really, really good match. I think that's going to be simply amazing. We know that Dragunov's going to be in it.
Yep.
And we know that JD McDonough, and then obviously, the champion in Wes Lee is going to be there. So now it's like
someone else, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not going to spoil it.
Yep.
Did they announce the fourth one today? Because I missed it. Okay.
They announced it tonight, but I won't spoil it because I don't think anybody has watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it tonight yet. So,
I only saw highlights.
But I know that's gonna be a great match. I'm so happy that my boy Carmelo Hayes is getting a shot at the NXT title. I'm so freaking. I'm telling you that Carmelo and freaking Braun match. That's gonna be so good. That match is gonna be freaking awesome.
Banger.
Banger after
banger. Banger after banger.
If Braun loses, he'll show up Monday on Raw.
He will. He probably will show up at the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and so Thomas is saying that Carmelo should win. I think he probably will. I think that Carmelo will actually win because I do think that Braun is going to be called up to the main roster. I think he is.
I think he will be. I mean, he's ready. I think he's been more than ready for a long time.
Well, yeah, but I think they really wanted to make sure that they got past WrestleMania first.
Yeah, true.
And then get them up there and find out the guys who are not working and the guys who are working on the main roster. Because we know that there's certain guys on the main roster that Triple H wasn't too happy with.
True.
So,
well, what's going on? I mean, with Johnny Wrestling back and forth. I mean,
Johnny Gargano,
yeah. I guess that's kind of confusing me. He's, on the main roster now. He's back down feuding with Waller. I mean,
but
there's
he's
a
still
reason
on the main
behind
roster.
Yeah, the thing is with Waller is when Gargano's contract ran out, Waller attacked him.
Yeah.
So for Johnny, this is unfinished business that he feels like he needs to take care of.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's because it's basically, they're trying to figure out they're trying to go back to what they're going and Thomas is saying that Gargano is helping Sean. So You know,
Michaels, yeah.
he is, yeah. Because you see that all these big time guys from the main roster are kind of going down to NXT to help out a little bit and get these guys going on the right track. The weirdest one I saw though was Braun against Jinder. That was probably the weirdest.
That was really stupid. I thought. I was like, "What are you? Why are you wasting your time with this guy?"
So could this be the sign or the finals? I don't know. It says Johnny's fighting pretty much for HBK. Is this like pretty much telling us that HBK has no interest in jumping in the ring anymore?
Yeah. Well, Sean has said before he's done. He said he's not. Yeah, he said he's not wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
Because we know.
Oh yeah. I remember Waller was talking on social media, kind of trying to antagonize Shawn Michaels, but Shawn Michaels wasn't budging, and he brought Johnny down to take care of.
Yeah, Waller. He wanted Shawn. He kept saying one more match, and Shawn's like, no, and so
like, I'm retired, leave me alone.
Yeah, and we all knew that, but. Speaking of NXT, we can.
Well, how many guys have been retired and they come back for 12 more matches? I mean,
yeah, something. I heard that. I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie. I got the. Speaking of kind of semi-retired guys, I was so glad I got the best news that I shared in the chat. It just made my whole day.
What does it have to do with a certain someone?
That it deals with the whole thing about Goldberg's contract expiring and he's now a free agent. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Money talks. He'll be back.
Yeah. And then the AEW fan, started feeling a little anxious because Tony Khan said he was keeping an eye on the whole thing. I'm like, dude, please don't sign Goldberg.
Yeah,
please don't do it.
But the thing is, I can see Goldberg going back there because they're running AEW on TNT, which is where TBS where Goldberg was with WCW. So it could be one of those last minute runs, for WCW.
But I'm like, no.
That's going to be so funny if it does happen.
I'm going to cry. Like, no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then you can go over there and put on his 30-second matches.
I still think they dropped the ball when they had that feud with him and Bobby and they got the son involved and Bobby hit his son. I figured for sure we were going to see a tag match.
Or something, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, never happened there. But so going on with talking about NXT, we can kind of transition into our next topic because I know that Big B had to say a lot about this. I know there was quite a bit he wanted to say. So, Big B, you can tell me what is your biggest, I know you had a problem with them doing this. So I'm curious because we saw it before in the past when Shawn Michaels actually did it. And back then, it really wasn't a big issue. So I'm curious, what is it about this that kind of upset you?
So we all know wrestling runs pretty much every few years. They'll recycle storylines and stuff like that. And me and Chrissy were on the night that this happened, and we both said that hopefully it wasn't fake. It was actually legit, and we all kind of thought that it was going to be the Shawn Michaels reincarnated thing. I'm still going to watch wrestling, even though I think this was a darkest point for them to pull this off to get her off of screen or off of TV for a while because I guess there's something serious going behind the scenes. I don't know. I haven't followed too much about that story, but
she got a clean bill of health now.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard. So this is the rumor I heard, which was that she tested positive for COVID. And she's been in quarantine for a little bit, but she should be better. I mean, especially if she said on Twitter she's got a clean bill of health.
The only reason why I'm upset about this, I think it's a low side of it, is because of what happened in the NFL season. I mean, somebody's health pretty much died on the field.
The DeMar Hamlin situation.
So for them to pull this off and Shawn writing it back in and to get her off the screen It was low. And again, I've been watching wrestling for 40-ish years. The storylines get rewritten all over again with a little twist. I'm not going to stop watching wrestling, but I just think that they should have done something different. Just what happened in the past year with Damar Hamlin and passing out or dying, actually, and then
almost
dying, and then doing this to Perez. I just think it was low. I still was kind of hoping that it was, not to put her health in danger, but hopefully it was real. But yeah, I just think that they could have gone a different way with this.
Yeah,
I don't think it was right.
So really quick before we get back on that, I have to hit on this comment because it was really funny. And
okay.
Tom's saying, would TK bring Goldberg in and then he squashes MJF for the title? That would be typical Tony Khan booking, though. That would be Tony Khan booking.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
I don't think MJ. I mean, I almost think that MJF is kind of like got the Brock Lesnar type of contract where he can determine how he loses, how he wins.
Right.
I just don't think MJF will
allow that. The general consensus among a lot of us is it's going to be Adam Cole. Bye. It's probably going to be
hopefully
MJF.
Cole does deserve it.
Maybe at Full Gear later on this year. We're not. No, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's going to be Adam Cole.
All right. Well, anyway, so going back to that, Christy, do you agree with Big B on that? That you just feel like it wasn't the exact right?
Yeah, it definitely was not the right. Yeah, it definitely was not the right thing to do, especially with, like we mentioned, with Damar Hamlin. He almost pretty much died twice on the field and had to be brought back to life twice. That was scary, and this was scary because I legitimately thought that Roxanne had legitimately collapsed. I was freaking out for her. I was worried.
Yeah.
But to think that this might have been some storyline that Shawn Michaels wanted to bring back, I don't think it was right.
Well, and I think from the get-go, it's the only thing I was trying to explain from the get-go is that that when it happened, the reason why I could tell that it was a work was because number one, the cameras would not follow them out. Like when it's a dangerous situation like that, the cameras are not allowed to follow. Number two, the X sign was not put up. If it was something like that, the X sign would actually be put up. And then a bunch of referees ran out. Okay, number one, all those referees would not be running out. It would be.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. And the X sign, I had to go back after you brought that up, Ace. I had to go back and watch it because I swore I saw some ref throw some kind of signal up there.
He might have thrown a signal.
No, he didn't.
No, he did not. There was no X sign.
He didn't throw up the X.
Nope. There were. So when I see things like that happen, that's what I look for. I look for the X sign, and then I look for any signs of like, did the camera follow and things like that. Because if the camera follows, it's a complete work. Because
and that's something that they screwed up on. They should have cut. They should have cut right away.
They should have just done that. I mean, even as soon as Booker T left the commentary desk to go with her, cut it off right there. But they didn't do it.
Yeah, they should have cut it off right away. It would have been more believable than.
But they made it look so fake.
Yeah.
But they also freaked out a good amount of people when she collapsed like she did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that the announcers kind of knew about it, so they were gonna act, the way that they were acting and stuff. But also another sign too that kind of stuck out to me is after it happened, there was like people were not blowing it up on Facebook the very next day and talking about prayers for Roxanne Perez and everything else. So it's like so.
No, I got the total opposite. I got everybody like, oh, it's a work. It was, WWE's not saying nothing. I mean, it was just like,
just strange.
I was really hoping it wasn't. I mean, not that I wanted to see her be in any pain or anything, but
no, I mean, we didn't want anything bad to happen to her. I mean, we knew Satomura is a tough opponent, but oh my god.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, I think for her though, I think they will find a way to work her back in the match.
Oh yeah. She'll get a title shot again, or
yeah,
unify the titles or whatever they decide to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Why they're having this ladder match at Stand and Deliver is, Roxanne comes out and says, "Oh, by the way, you may be the champ, but I didn't lose that title," and it's going to lead to a unification match.
Yeah.
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 And then Roxanne unifies. Then Roxanne becomes the undisputed NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah.
Right. Well, going on to our next one, I put this one in there too because I know it's something that we kind of wanted to talk about. We know that even at WrestleMania, they're doing that fatal 4-way tag match. It's got like the Viking Raiders and Braun and Ricochet and the Street Profits. But we know that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going up against the Usos. So, Big B, do you feel like this is the right choice? Do you feel like WWE made this the right choice by putting Sami and Kevin against the Usos?
For storyline purposes, yes. I mean, Sami was there. I mean, the only thing that I think that would have been different is if Sami and Jay would have split off. I mean, I think that would have been fine too. But I think for storyline purposes, this was great. For business aspect, I think it was great. As a fan, yeah, it's going to be a good match. But I think they should have went with, had a 4-way match or a little tournament or something leading up to WrestleMania, and then the winners get to face the Usos. But for the storyline, I don't think they could have wrote this any better with Sami and KO teaming up to dethrone the Usos.
Christy, how about you?
Well, I definitely like this. I keep thinking the Usos have pretty much run through almost every tag team you can think of. Have them go up against Kevin and Sami. It just honestly on all fronts it just makes sense.
Yeah, which I do completely agree with that. I think the only other ones that if they were still potentially a tag team that you could have considered putting in this spot would have been like a Randy and a Matt Riddle or something like that.
Yes, I mean if Randy Orton's back and not acted up on him, then yes, RK Bro would have probably been in the title picture. They may have been.
Yeah, they may have been because we know that originally they had to kind of shift away after the Randy injury because we knew that Randy Orton was going to face Roman at some point for the title. So yeah, but I think in reality though that could have been the other team that you could have considered because of everything that kind of had went on between Matt Riddle and Randy and the Usos. Yeah, but I think currently with the current people that are healthy and kind of there, I think Sami and Kevin is probably the best story because it was kind of built up to it, and the build up to it was great. And yeah, so Randy could be coming back after Mania. Yeah, and that's kind of what I read too, is that there was no internal talks before about Randy coming back, but there is internal talks now.
Yeah, now there is.
And let's be clear, we're not talking about Randy Dragon Viper, we're talking about Randy Orton. Just so oh, Randy's coming back.
Okay.
I've read that too, where there's speculation Randy's going to make an appearance sometime after WrestleMania and be Cody's first opponent.
Wouldn't that be funny though if like Randy came back at Mania and he's the one who cost Roman the belts?
Oh God!
I mean, there's talk that too that that might be equalizer at Mania with the Bloodline having Orton and Riddle come out. So Mania is shaping up to be very good. I really hope they don't throw too many curveballs at us.
No, they better not.
But the thing is, though, I think people like curveballs though, like on some things.
Well, yeah, it's a good debate. I mean, if the curveball makes sense, I mean, down the road, I mean, if they just throw it, like how many times are we going to see Roman Reigns have somebody help him win the titles. It's just like, okay, dude, we need to find an equalizer somewhere. I mean, even in the Hell in a Cell matches or cage matches he's had help, and it's just like, all right, as much as I love this Roman Reigns character, the Bloodline storyline. I mean, all good things come to ends.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it will definitely get there. Now, regardless how long the Sammy and Kevin Owens tag team lasts for,
I don't think it'll be long.
It'll probably take a long while until they start irritating the hell out of each other.
So you got to figure that the next pay-per-view is what, Backlash or Payback or something?
Backlash.
It's WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah,
they took the WrestleMania part off the title of Backlash.
So you're if the Usos loses, they're gonna want a title match.
Right.
So I a month maybe. I hope not. I hope it's a little bit longer, but I could see them running a month and then putting the titles back on the Usos.
You really think that they would put the belts back on the Usos?
I hope not, but
no, I don't.
But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that's why we're sitting here talking. We're not behind the scenes. I mean,
no, we're not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you really thought that they were gonna give it back to the Usos after a month?
I can see it. No. I can see it. I hope it's longer. I really do.
Yeah. David Thomas is saying he hopes it's longer.
Yeah, I do.
There you go.
I do too, but it would not shock me if it's that quick of a turnaround.
I don't think Triple H would book something like that. I don't think.
Well, who's really doing booking? I mean, you read online.
I hear it, but
are you gonna really read that crap you see online? Like, really?
I read it, but I take it with a grain of salt.
Oh, I do too. I mean,
I'm just like, oh, Vince doing the booking? Yeah, screw it, forget it. They're not doing it.
The thing is a highly regarded ref thinks that Vince is doing the booking for AEW. Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah, like I said, there's all these speculations out there.
BS on that one.
But I tell you what, though, if you guys recall, I said that it would not surprise me if Vince loses control of WWE, which he somewhat has, and shows up on AEW as a GM or a silent partner because he's got the money from WWE. That's gonna blow the roof off the ratings. It's gonna be better than Monday Night Wars.
Nope.
Thing is, though, this is the thing. If Vince McMahon was actually still booking, you wouldn't get half the matches you have right now.
And the Bloodline would still have all the gold.
I get that, but if that ref is legit, I mean, God, could you guys see if Vince came out and said he's a silent partner, or it comes out that he is booking for AEW?
Nope.
Man, the ratings would just skyrocket.
Probably would, but I'm not believing it, not one little bit.
No, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I mean, but you guys heard it here first a while ago that I said that would be one rating that would put Monday Night War to shame.
Nope.
It would. It's secret.
Oh boy.
It would be a weird, it would be really, really weird.
It would be weird. I mean, just Ace, you're old enough to remember, Chrissy. I don't know if you remember too much about the day that Shane showed up on WCW. How weird that was.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden now you're gonna have the face of WWE, Vince McMahon, show up on AEW. I mean, would that just be killer?
Good point by Thomas. It would be a conflict of interest for Vince to show up at AEW.
It would be.
Yeah,
well,
because he's trying to sell
too.
WWE, and he's on the board of directors, so it doesn't make one bit of sense whatsoever.
Well, yeah, right now it doesn't make sense. That's why I said it would have to be something to where he loses full control over everything, but somehow he still has like 1% of stock in there, and he uses that money to back AEW up. I mean,
nah.
I mean,
the only person providing the
Thomas can agree with me too. If this showed up on AEW TV, that would blow the roof out the place in ratings. It would personally make me sick to my stomach, to be honest. I can't stand Vince McMahon. I'm sorry. Well, I can't.
He's brilliant and everything, but just everything that has happened, especially past 10 or so years. I mean, it's just like, yuck.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
It's
totally
like,
get
ew,
it,
this is gross.
but nobody can argue that would not be one heck of a rating grab if it shows up on
It'd be like
AEW.
Shane going, "It's me,"
or Shane. Yeah, Shane
or
would be.
Shane. Well, but I think
Yeah.
AEW is fine. They do have a financial backer. His son Tony Khan runs the company.
So Thomas saying Dynamite would see the largest ratings ever. It would.
Oh yeah. Nobody can argue that.
Yeah, and then you have all the chatter on social media, like, "Oh my god, no."
Yeah. See, told you Vince was running both shows. Blah blah blah. You know.
Right.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, "Oh, we'll never live this down, will we?" No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, going into our
next
one. So, basically, this next one that we're talking about is I watched because Undertaker finally came out and he kind of said what his Mount Rushmore is, and so he said his Mount Rushmore is Flair, Hogan, Austin, and then Andre. So when he came out with his Mount Rushmore, they asked him and like, okay, Taker, so how did you come up with your Mount Rushmore? Because when people come up with their Mount Rushmores, people come up with their Mount Rushmores in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came up with his Mount Rushmore, he said he had to base it off of what the person has done for the company, the impact that they had on the company. Yeah. And so that's why he mentioned Flair and he mentioned Hogan, and he said he knew that he might get some backlash from saying Hogan, but he did come out and say, would WWE have been the same if Hogan was not there? And it's like, you know what? Technically, he's true. It's right.
That's
if Hogan wasn't there, it probably wouldn't have been as big as it is now if it wasn't for Hogan being there. And
so his list was Andre, Flair, Hogan, and who?
It was Andre, Hogan, Flair, and Steve Austin.
Give me a hell yeah!
Wow. Well, and the thing is we've done when we first started the show and we have interviews with people, we've always asked them what their Mount Rushmore is. Nobody has ever said Andre.
Yeah.
And that just shows you how much respect that Taker has for him. And even watching all the documentaries about Andre and all this in wrestling, everybody has so much respect for Andre that I mean, I just can't believe that Andre's not. And watching clips of it, Undertaker said that Flair and Andre were for sure his 1-2.
Yeah.
And then he said probably Hogan and then Austin. I mean, it wasn't like he didn't rattle off 4 right away. Andre and Flair he rattled off pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah, but it took him a little bit to name the other 2. And so Thomas saying Taker is right. Without Hogan, the WWF never would have taken off.
Very true.
And then you got the biggest heel turn in WCW with Hogan. So, I mean...
when he became Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah, so, I mean, anybody that watches wrestling from the 80s through 2000s, to me, if you don't have Hogan on some kind of Mount Rushmore, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but it'd be hard for me to convince that you're right. I mean,
and that's why when Taker said it, he came out and was like, I might get a lot of backlash for this because he said Hogan. Yeah. And I think that a lot of people are like, well, Hogan said blah blah. It's like, but it doesn't matter what he said. Like the thing is,
what he's
like,
accomplished.
What did he do for the company? Like he helped the WWF so freaking much that they would not have been the same if he was not there.
And the thing is the character is what helped. I mean, could anybody else pull out that Hulk Hogan gimmick?
Nope.
I mean,
only he could.
Probably not, but I mean, it was produced right, it was promoted right.
Yep.
Just like we talked about, could anybody else been the leader of the NWO besides Hogan? Probably,
Nope.
but it would not have worked as well as it did. I mean,
exactly. And
you know,
and when I posted this in another chat though too, I'm not gonna say names, but somebody did say they're like, so why is Hulk and Andre on this list? They're like, what has Hulk and Andre ever done for this company? And I was like,
a lot.
I was like, are you kidding me? What do you mean?
oh my God. At the
like,
time,
geez,
they had one of the biggest watched WrestleMania matches ever.
Exactly. That
You
was
have
a big deal.
You have, Andre's what 7'7", 7'6".
Right around there.
Yeah.
The lovely giant that everybody came out to see. I mean, he would take on three, four people at a time. The biggest babyface Hulk Hogan, and then you have Andre turn on him. I mean, between those two, that's got to be one of the top 10 rivalries in wrestling for sure, if not sports all around.
Yeah,
true. It's very true.
Yeah, and that's the point.
Holy cow, we have a sighting, guys.
What's up, Dragon Viper?
Holy cow.
I spotted Dragon Viper.
and that was the point that that we were trying to make when I put that in the chat, and the person had mentioned that. I was like, do you know the sales that Hogan and Andre, and then the viewership that they brought? And the person said, selling merchandise means nothing, and ratings mean. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, if you sell merchandise, that means a lot. You're bringing the company money.
I mean, but
Hogan and Andre shirts that fans were wearing at that WrestleMania event. Match between Hogan and Andre the Giant. I mean,
he's not wrong, because you got. No. I mean, Ace. We know a lot of wrestling collectors, or a few, I should say, not a lot.
Yeah.
They're going to buy merchandise to keep it for a while, then turn around and sell it at the right time. And then you got kids. Then you got the parents going there to buy their kids their favorite shirt or toy or something. So, I mean, he's not wrong per se, but he's not right. I mean,
but trying to say that Hogan and Andre did not have an impact, and saying that what did they do for the WWE? That is the most blasphemous thing I've ever heard.
It is.
Yeah, because right now you go out to any mall or anywhere and stop anybody that's willing to talk nowadays, just to do a little quick interview, and ask them if you heard a wrestler, who would be the one name that pop out at you? Guarantee it would be Hogan or Flair, maybe Andre, but especially if it's an older guy like myself, you're going to say Hogan, Flair.
Yep.
A younger person's probably going to say Austin, Rock, or somebody else. So
one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think when it comes to it, like when you look at the Attitude Era, that's where it kind of gets complicated, because would you give it to The Rock or would you give it to Austin? Because they kind of both excelled in that little bit of that era right there. So it would be difficult. Now when I did post this too, the same person said, well, why did The Undertaker not put The Undertaker in the Rushmore? And I was like, Undertaker's not going to put himself in the Mount Rushmore.
Well, that's the whole thing is, you ask anybody, I mean, even Michael Jordan's come out and said that he's not to go to basketball because he didn't play with the people that he preceded. So he can't consider himself the GOAT. He considers those guys the GOAT, just like Undertaker, that everybody, if he said himself was on his Mount Rushmore, everybody be like, oh, he's ego driven, blah blah blah, all this.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And Hogan, I don't
an ego driven person.
And I don't even think Hulk Hogan or Flair have put themselves on their own Mount Rushmore.
I doubt it.
At
least I've never heard them. At least I've never heard them say it.
Yeah. I mean, Attitude Era for WWE alone, it would either be Austin, Rock,
Stone Cold,
maybe Triple H, maybe Shawn Michaels. I mean,
I'd say that, yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of that too, it's like, because we know that the Hall of Fame is there, and people are getting inducted like that too. But not only does this kind of deal with like the Mount Rushmore stuff, but when somebody asked Triple H and said, "Hey, when are you getting inducted in?" and Triple H said, "If I have anything to do with it, I will not be inducted in the Hall of Fame." So
Vince said the same thing too.
So Triple H said that he does not want to be inducted in the Hall of Fame because he doesn't want to feel like people are saying that he only made it because of who he's married to and everything else. So Triple H, it's just like, I don't need to be in.
Yeah,
that's his biggest thing.
I think they will do a big like family one, and Triple H will be involved in that. I think it'll be the McMahons with Triple H.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
Yeah,
he's already in as part of DX anyway.
For me though, like when you talk about like Mount Rushmores and everything about that, to me though too is like another person that I would consider would be somebody like Chris Jericho, and the only reason I would consider him is because of everything that he's accomplished in his life, in his whole entire career. Everything that he has accomplished would be there. Now, Big B, when you come up with your Mount Rushmore, do you do it the same way that the Undertaker did by going off of what have they accomplished, or what do you base yours off of?
Well, my all-time 4 are never going to change because I don't think you compare it, and that's Hogan, Flair, Sting, and Warrior. I can't bump one of them, and it's pretty much kind of like the Michael Jordan thing. You can't bump somebody off there because you didn't see what they did against each other,
Right.
So that's my all-time. I mean, to me, I would have to go, like generations, like we talk about in the NBA. So Attitude Era, you got, Triple H, Austin, Rock, HBK, Bret Hart. On the WCW side, you had everybody for the NWO. Now it's like, okay, you got Roman, you got Seth, you got, KO, you got, even Cody Rhodes right now. If you throw in AEW, then you got, Mox. MJF, Mox, probably the top 2 I'd take from there. I don't watch Impact, I don't watch New Japan, to throw them guys in there, but it's just one of those things where it's generational, and I think a lot of people now are understanding that the GOAT is more a generational thing than it is, okay, this guy's the all-time greatest because of what he's done. So
and that's what I was curious, is that how you base your Mount Rushmore off of, is what they meant to the company, right?
Yeah, because
good point by Dragon Viper.
We talked about Mox on AEW, but I think he meant more to WWE than he did AEW right now.
Because
down the road,
he was so over and so popular with the fans in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But again, AEW is so new right now. It's like, who would you throw in that? And of course, you're probably going to throw in 3 or 4 different WWE guys because that's what AEW is right now. So
they're trying to get more talent that's not WWE,
and they need to.
They're working on it.
Yeah.
All right. So, Christy, when you chose your Mount Rushmore,
oh boy,
what do you base yours off of?
They're based off of accomplishments and similar to you guys, what they've done for the company. And my Mount Rushmore it's Flair, Bret Hart, Hogan, and I'd go The Rock.
Okay, so
they each did a lot for the company and helped inspire generations of fans and generations of wrestlers.
Yeah, so if we go based off of that too, if we go based off of accomplishments, which some people do, and that's okay. People base their Mount Rushmore off of accomplishments. There's kind of a big name that somebody's forgetting out there, and
Bruno Sammartino.
Besides that, his name is John Cena.
Oh yeah, John Cena. Yeah.
Well, because look, because if you're talking about strictly accomplishments, right? Yep. He's the one that's tied with Ric Flair for the most championships of all time. So if people based it off of accomplishments, John Cena would definitely have to be up there.
Yeah.
The thing is I think John Cena's mic skills is what got him over. I don't know. I mean,
he's just so good on the mic. I mean,
I'm not a real big John Cena fan back in the day. I mean, I liked the guy. I thought he was good, but I think I was more attracted to his mic skills than I was his wrestling skills.
No,
I mean, besides the fact that he could freestyle, he could also just drop savage promos on anybody.
Yeah.
Look at the one he did recently on Austin Theory. I mean, he burned him on the mic.
So
schooled him.
Tim Hendricks is saying his Mount Rushmore would be Taker, Dusty, Flair, and Hogan.
And there's another name, Dusty. I mean,
Dusty Rhodes. Yeah.
What has Dusty done for the business, for the business in general? A lot.
So much.
Yeah.
And that's the first person. Tim is the first person to throw Dusty on his Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. And
take a look at all the people that he trained when they were in NXT, and he was working in NXT. He trained so many people. Like you see Roman, you see Seth Rollins, you see Saraya, or Paige as she was known in NXT.
And what does Randy Cox know about being a hard worker? I don't know.
And Randy, and that was my point. Like, you're talking about the whole John Cena thing, right? And people may not have liked him, but what he did for this company is not, like, it's not even debatable, because he's done so much for WWE. He's meant so much to WWE. It's like in his
start to his prime to before he retired. Let's throw out the Cal Ripken analogy. If you went to a Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-view, you knew you were going to see John Cena there. He was going to be active unless he was hurt. So, no doubt, hard worker and stuff like that. I mean, for sure.
And for people who say that, Cena doesn't sell, doesn't sell tickets, when he was on that SmackDown in a tag team match with Kevin Owens, that was the highest viewed SmackDown that they've had in a couple years. And why? Wow. Because people knew that freaking John Cena was going to be there. And so
he's a ratings draw.
He is. John Cena is a rating draw. Now, would I put him on my Mount Rushmore? Probably not. But that's because I don't base it off of accomplishments. But if I were, it would have to be, Flair and Cena would definitely be two of them because they would be up there. But it's been always so hard for me to pick a Mount Rushmore, because there's so many different names that can go on that list.
Here's a good one from Tim too. If you go by the money, I mean, there's where your money's sitting right there. Hogan, Austin,
Rock, and Cena.
Cena, yeah.
And if you go back in the older days, Bruno Sammartino would be one of those guys too that you could put on that list.
And that's another thing too that I base it on people I've seen. I mean, early '80s, Bruno was still fighting. I can't remember a match I've seen him in. I've seen highlights, but I can't throw him in in a wrestling business. Okay, yes, he's probably one of the GOATs, but in my Mount Rushmore stuff, I can't put him there because I haven't seen him do his thing.
I'm the same way. I wasn't even born yet when he was competing in the ring at the time, so I can't put him on my Mount Rushmore for that reason alone.
Randy's got to go to work. Are you making more? Is Randy making more Arcade Bro t-shirts?
So, I think with that, you could go with you could go with the Great Khali, Hornswoggle.
No,
Are we talking about Randy's Mount Rushmore now? I mean,
really? Yeah. No, that was just a joke anyways. But it was another great conversation, but we're almost at that hour mark. So Big B, what are your final thoughts?
It's always great talking wrestling, sports in general. I'm glad we do this show. Along with all the other shows we have on C2C, it's a great stress reliever. It gives us time to voice our opinions. That's one good thing that social media has now, that we can all voice our opinions and listen to people. And tomorrow, today we were preempted, couldn't get the link to work, we'll say. So C2C Rankin will be on tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central.
All right, Christy, how about for you?
Oh, it's just fun coming back on the show, just talking wrestling and everything. And I just wish WrestleMania would just hurry up and get here. Oh yeah, and congratulations to the late great Andy Kaufman going into the
it's coming up.
Fame. It's coming up.
It's coming up. WrestleMania's coming up.
Hurry up, WrestleMania.
What, next week?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, yeah, should be next week. All right, yep. So we definitely want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for those of you who popped on here and left some comments. So thank you very much, and we'll see you all next Tuesday for another episode of Between the Ropes. Have a good night.
WrestleMania edition.
Oh, yeah.
WrestleMania edition. The go